Hey everyone, Coach Abe here with another video on world building. This one is going to be about the societal structures of your world. Now, of course, this is going to go beyond just simply the poor, middle, and rich class. This is going to be a bit more in depth, but still, I'm going to try to keep it short because I know that we have stories that we want to write, characters we want to meet, and epic adventures that we have to go on. So just stay tuned real quick and we'll get right into it. Societal structures are foundational in the creation of fictional worlds. They act as the scaffolding upon which a story is built. Immersive societal structures add depth to a narrative, making the world feel more vivid and believable. In this lesson, we will explore all the different facets of societal structures and how they influence the dynamics of your fictional world. Now, I wrote on the slide fictional worlds, but of course, this will all also work for historical fiction, right? Historical fiction is kind of a mix of both, right? It's probably a real location and like the real social structures, but fictional in the sense of like the story isn't real. These societal structures are still very important for you to know if you are writing a historical fiction because it'll give you a good grasp of how the real societal structures were structured. And same for fantasy or sci-fi or noir, cyberpunk, really anything, regular fiction. These societal structures will be a constant in the worldview of your characters. So, to truly understand your character, you're going to have to understand their societal structures. First, we're going to cover government and governance. The form of government within your fictional world can vary widely. Options include monarchies, democracies, dictatorships, theocracies, and more. You can find many different articles about all the different types of government. To me, I usually don't use a democracy in, say, fantasy worlds because it tends to require a lot of collaboration between races. And in fantasy, most times the races are kind of messed up with each other. So I try to keep it to monarchies that we can truly explore, like the king or the queen, and their roles, their personalities, and their form of governance. Theocracies are also very interesting as well, kind of led by the religious sect of the civilization. So just look into those, but really any government, as long as you have a good backbone, is going to turn out fine. But the type of government significantly impacts the legal system, governance, and individual rights. For example, a monarchy may have absolute rule, while a democracy emphasizes citizen participation. The government's role in your world can be exemplified through works like The Hunger Games, where the autocratic rule of the capital governs the society and enforces its laws. Now, obviously, the type of governance that your characters have to live under is going to dramatically affect their choices. Maybe while in, say, democracy, these kids might want to go to the pizza bar at night, right? That's fine. But if they're under a dictatorship, maybe there's a curfew. Maybe they are literally not allowed to go out past 9 p.m. So it's very important to ensure that your reader knows what kind of governance is governing your people, right? Like your characters. Otherwise, some of their decisions are going to be left kind of unexplained. It's even more important that you know the kind of governance. Because if you truly don't know the governance, then you won't know the true worldview that your characters have. Now that we have governance out of the way, right? Like the kind of government that your world has is kind of basic, but I had to throw it in there. Now we're going to actually get into the social classes and hierarchies of your world. Societal structures involve the organization of social classes, including nobility, commoners, and marginalized groups. These divisions are based on factors like birthright, wealth, or occupation. For example, say if you're in industrial England, in the 1800s, you might be a worker. So you're going to be part of the workers' unions that were forming up around that time. You might go around smashing the factories, machinery, maybe beating up guards and stuff. Because that's really the kind of chaos that was caused during the Industrial Revolution in England. Or your occupation might be as a mine foreman during that same time. Then you're going to have to deal with those worker unions, beating up your men and destroying your factories. The same setting can yield very different people depending on those different aspects like birthright, wealth, or occupation. The social classes impact access to resources, education, and opportunities, and overall quality of life. And now here's why having social classes in your story is kind of important. The key word is conflict, right? At times there can be conflict because of the difference between the classes. But what is conflict? It's interesting. It's interesting for the story. So you can embrace this by having a character in one class, perhaps having a romantic interest in a different class, or maybe they have friends in a different class, or their job leads them to a different class. I say class a lot, don't I? But really, we've all heard the stories of, say, a peasant wanting to become a knight and trying his hardest to become a knight, and then one day, by luck and sheer persistence, he becomes a knight, even though his social class at the time did not allow him the opportunity. Those are the good stories. It's far more entertaining to read about a peasant becoming a knight than the son of a knight becoming a knight. And then literary works like Brave New World showcase a society divided into classes defined by genetic engineering. And H.G. Wells' The Time Machine portrays a future where two distinct classes, the Eloi and Morlocks, exist in stark contrast. All these different social classes, like I was saying, yield conflict. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to dive a bit into creating immersive societal structures. It's a critical aspect of world building. This process requires thoughtful consideration of various factors. For one, cultural factors. How does the culture of your world influence societal norms and values? Then there's historical factors. What historical events have shaped the societal structure, such as revolutions, wars, or migrations? Let's look at Russia for this example. It used to be a regular empire. There was a czar and his family, and that family would rule Russia until the bloodline ran out, until, of course, the Bolshevik Revolution. Then the czar's family was killed and replaced by the Communist Party. Those societal norms, such as peasant and king, is what pushed the societal norms of dictatorship and worker. So these societal changes, these structures can adapt and change. They aren't stagnant. They continue to change along with everything else in your world. And then there's geographical factors. How does the physical landscape impact societal development, like isolation due to natural barriers or proximity to resources? Remember in lesson one when we talked about that mountain that divided those two kingdoms? It could be instead a river that divides two social classes. On one side of the river, it might be, such a lush land full of fruit, full of veggies, right? The crops are always plump and the people are always happy. But then on the other side of the river, for whatever reason it might be, it's very dry. There's like not a whole lot of food. The people have to fish, they're peasants. While on the other side, they sell their crops. They're all merchants, they're all rich, they're all happy. And no matter what, the people on the barren side can never get across because the river is too wide and too strong. And the only bridge is blocked by those same people on the green side. That societal structure only happens because of that division of that river. If the river wasn't there, those other people would have the same access to the good land. It isn't a reason of history, wealth, or birthright, not even occupation. It's just simply because they don't have access to those resources. This brings us to the conclusion. Societal structures are an indispensable element in world building, shaping the behaviors and destinies of your characters. These structures provide opportunities for conflict, growth, and development within your narrative. The understanding gained in this lesson will be invaluable as you continue to construct your own fictional worlds. Once again, thank you for joining me in the second installment of the World Building Series. I hope that you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun recording this, and I'm looking forward to getting you the next lesson in this course. Once again, I encourage you strongly to go check out Coach Ben's punctuation course and Coach Spencer's What's Your Story course. Both of them are extremely powerful and will boost your writing to the next level, just like this one. Also, please, once we have them out, check out the premium courses where we'll teach you how to write short stories, poetry, elegies, novellas, because they're faster than novels. We want to get you publishing those books as soon as possible, and children's book publishing and book publishing. So many different things are coming to Writers Academy, and I'm so glad to have you with us. And I'll see you in the chats. Let me know if you have any questions and what I should be covering next. Once again, thanks for watching and have a great day.